Hi, everybody. It's Devon, and I want to welcome you to today's discussion, right? Our topic that we decided to cover today is called expectations. And it's going to be myself, Devon, and then this is my partner, Debbie.
Hi, everybody.
And so we're just going to have a little bit of a discussion about expectations because what we see with our clients and family and friends and just people in general is a lot of the frustration that people have in different areas of their life, whether it's work or school or, family relationships, romantic relationships, partnerships, any kind of interactions that you're having. What we see a lot is a lot of frustration is surrounding what you expect, right? What do you expect from that relationship? What kind of expectations do you have moving forward? And is it possibly time to challenge some of those expectations, right? So we just want to have a little discussion and share it with you guys today as coaches so you guys can understand kind of what we do when we're working with clients, but just so you can get this information for yourselves so you can challenge yourselves in the future when it comes to your expectations around, again, all these different relationships that you have in your life. Because, of course, we want you guys to have fun. We want you to enjoy life. We want you guys to lighten up, honestly, because it doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be so hard. And what we find, again, is a lot of suffering that happens is just based on your expectations and what you expect from other people. So with that being said, I'm just going to ask Debbie a couple of questions. And, again, she's going to be speaking on behalf of not only just being a coach herself for so long, but again, in regards to her own personal life. And we're just going to share with you guys some stuff that works for us. And again, we're not going to share anything that we haven't either experienced ourselves or that we haven't heard from one of our clients. So with that being said, so my first question for you today, Debbie, is when it comes to expectations, how do you, challenge your clients to really reflect back and look at their expectations of why a lot of their frustration or unhappiness is because of their, defined expectations?
Yeah, one of the things this seems to go hand in hand is expectations and suffering. We sort of bring this on ourselves because I think a lot of times we have unrealistic expectations of other people that really is our own stuff and stuff that we should be doing for ourselves, I find a lot of that, so-and-so's not doing their share, or they're not doing this for me, or they're not making me happy, or not anybody else's responsibility. And so I see an awful lot of that. And so I think, again, I preach about self-love all the time. I think it comes back to, you have to come back to the foundation of who you are, what you want for yourself. And a lot of times it's giving those things to yourself and just allowing people not to necessarily do whatever in a relationship, but setting boundaries for yourself, having open conversations.
Very good.
This is what I need. Is there a way that you can even meet me halfway? If this is outside of your comfort zone, then let's talk about it and let's figure out how we can work together. If you're going to be in a relationship, whether it's romantical or it's business or it's friendship, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But just having a conversation around, these are kind of the things that I need for myself, and not necessarily expectations. I think that's where we sort of we stumble on that a lot. But these are just things that I need for myself.
It's good. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with that. And I think a lot of times when we're trying to coach people and we're trying to help them understand that happiness comes from you, not to you, right?
Right.
When you're so good with yourself and you're so comfortable in your own skin and just being yourself, then you don't expect anything from anyone, and you don't need them to do anything different than what they're already doing in order for you to be happy, because you're not placing your happiness in their actions or behaviors, right?
Absolutely.
So my next question would be, all right, so now I've challenged myself, what should I expect? And again, obviously we know that should is a very bad word, because if you're saying should, you're basing that belief system off something that somebody else has given you. You didn't create it yourself. It was past it. I should be doing this. They should be doing that. Mm-hmm. No. if you can get rid of that word, then obviously you can let go of those expectations. And when you don't expect anything, you know, in order to be happy, then whatever people provide to you is a bonus, right? And if it's
absolutely
negative, then again, like you said, if you have boundaries and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to allow this in my experience.
Right.
But as you know, with a lot of coaching and, you know, growth and improvement and things like that, it's not that people don't want different, it's that they don't know how to get it. So how would you suggest to somebody on how to change their expectations? Let's just start with the most obvious one in a relationship. How do you change your expectations with your partner in a way that's going to make you feel good and make you happier?
I think it comes back to the self. I think you have to sit down and have an open and honest conversation with yourself and say, these are the things that I truly need. These are the things that I will not allow. These are the things that I will allow. And really, like we said, set up a boundary that I'm doing this for me. This is the way that I'm creating my own happiness. It doesn't involve you. I'm happy to bring you in if you can fit inside these things. But I think it does. You have to sit down and really be elementary with it. Okay, these are my likes. These are my dislikes. This is what I will tolerate. This is what I won't. And really just, you know, like I said, just be ground honest. Because I think a lot of times we have this fluffy idea of what we want in a relationship. Oh, I want, you know, blah, 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 this romantic movie thing. Well, that's a lot of people live with that expectation. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I don't think it exists every day. Right. But be realistic and be honest with yourself and what you really truly want.
Yeah, I would say the same goes with the parent-child relationship, especially as they become adults, is people have expectations around the parent-child relationship of what should have happened, what didn't happen, what should happen now, what doesn't happen, and things like that. And they're all getting frustrated. When if you could just let go of those expectations and you're just, you know, happy with yourself, then you don't need them to do anything or be anything different than what they already are. If you just love them where they are, then it is what it is. You accept them with all their little quirks, all their little ways, and you don't need to change them. And you don't need them to be different, you know?
Right.
So in regards to something else that I share when I'm coaching is a lot of the action feeling statements that I always challenge people to look at is when you're having a conversation with somebody is, you know, say we'll go back to romantic relationships and, you know, something simple as you never do the dishes, right? Well, that's an all or nothing statement. That probably isn't true. It's probably that they never do the dishes. It's that they don't do it as frequently, right? So that's an all or nothing statement that needs to go.
Right.
But again, when you are focused on those all or nothing, right? You never do the dishes. So it makes me feel, you know, unworthy or not valued or whatever it is that you're feeling because of this action, right? So not only are you not pointing fingers saying, you know, you don't do anything around here, which obviously is not true, but it's more of reflecting on yourself and saying, if this person not doing this thing makes me feel a way, that's more of a reflection of me than it is that person, because I'm basing my mood and my, you know, attitude on their actions. And when you put that in somebody else's hands, you've literally made yourself powerless.
Right. You gave them your power.
Right. So again, outside of setting boundaries, right, is there anything that somebody can do to start to work on their expectations of these people in their life? You know, as you know, most stress comes from people's personal relationships, their coworkers, their family members, their romantic relations, their children, things like that. So as people start to lighten up on their expectations, what else could you suggest people to do to ease up on themselves? Obviously, because we give ourselves the highest amount, you know, the most expectations, but how else can people work to ease up on expectations of other people around them?
Well, I think, you know, you kind of said it about the parenting thing is just allowing people to be who they are. And if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, you have to accept that this is the way that they are. So can I work with that or not? That becomes your choice. And
Right.
just, thinking about, okay, well, maybe they don't do the dishes all the time, but they did them Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So, I can be okay with that. Or you didn't do them the way that I would do them.
Yeah, that's a
that
common
was
one.
that was a big thing for me. For years, it's like, oh gosh, they don't clean like I do, kind of thing, or you didn't make the
Yes.
bed the way that I do, but hey, they're helping. You gotta let that go. That's just way too much stress for one person to carry around. But I think just allowing people to be themselves and be accepting of that, and just figure out a way that you can work together.
Agreed. I think that a big part of expectations is that you're focusing on lack rather than appreciation, right? So oftentimes we focus on what people aren't doing, right? You're not doing this, you're doing this wrong, right? So you're focused on lack rather than appreciating all the things they are doing. So yeah, going back to they didn't do the dishes, but guess what? They washed the car. They, did the laundry. They did this, they did that, even with our children, right?
Right.
And we're trying to support them and raise them and get them into a mindset of contributing in some way, right? But if you're just focusing on everything they're not doing, then what it does is it sets up not just the expectation that they're going to fail, but when you say you don't do it the way that I would do it, then you're setting everybody up for failure.
Right.
Because nobody's ever going to do things the way that you do them. Right?
No, ever. Never. Let that expectation go. Just throw that one away. That no one will ever do that.
Never.
Never.
And again, you're just setting yourself up to be unhappy. So
Right.
So what are some other expectations that you think are the bigger ones that people need to let go of?
Oh gosh. I think the biggest one, we've already talked about that, is expecting people to make you happy.
Yeah.
If they do this, I'll be happy. No.
No, that's not the way it works
at all.
That's
not how it works. You have to be happy first.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought of when you were talking earlier is the 5 love languages. That book, who wrote that? You'll know, Miss Reader. What was his name? Gary?
Wasn't it the same guy who wrote Seat of the Soul?
I think so.
Yeah. I know.
Nonetheless,
but yeah.
It's so awesome in explaining people in relationships, and how do you feel love? Like, for instance, we're talking about washing the dishes. Okay, that's acts of service. And some people, that is how they receive love. Okay, you did the dishes for me. I feel loved. Thank you.
Right.
Some people, it's physical touch, a hug, or whatever. So that's one thing that people can do for themselves, is kind of check out that language and figure out, what language do I speak?
Right.
What language does my partner speak? That helps with a lot of expectations in, okay, well, they don't speak this language, so let me help them understand that this is my language, and this is what's going to make me feel loved. And what's your language? So I can work on that. That was a big one. I think that one is everybody should read that book. Kind of like we were talking about the 4 agreements. I think everyone should read that.
Yes, for the record, everybody, we believe everybody, Debbie said it yesterday, everyone over the age of 10 needs to read Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The 4 Agreements.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. If we
huge
all
fans of the book, it's basic. Yes. Follow
it's
it.
Basic.
Yes.
If we all just followed those 4 simple things,
man,
our stress level would go way down.
I personally think the 2 biggest of the book, and again, you guys can get the book and read it, but the 2 biggest ones that I see the most are taking things personally and making assumptions, right?
Oh, absolutely. I would totally agree with that.
Right. So the first being, again, our same example of somebody not doing the dishes, right? That's you taking it personal.
Right.
You're taking it personal, and you're assuming that somebody didn't do something to somehow slight you or offend you or hurt you in some way. It's not even about you.
Right.
So you're taking something personal and you're making assumptions.
Right.
So I'll add something to that, which I talk about a lot because I'm a huge fan of Claude Steiner, who wrote, it's not just about emotional intelligence, it's emotional literacy. And again, it's about understanding your own emotions and the emotions of other people, right? So in his book, Emotional Literacy, he talks about the rescuer, victim, persecutor cycle, right? So there's a cycle. So somebody becomes the rescuer, and I'll say this usually is moms, and moms are notorious for this. Jumping in where nobody asks for their help, officially doing too much, right? So they start as a rescuer. I have to rescue my adult child, or I have to rescue my spouse, or I have to rescue my sibling or parent or whoever it is. And, you know, I don't just want to say moms, I'm sorry. You know, I see a lot of women in general who do this. They want to
women in general. Yeah.
Right. They want to rescue someone. So now they offer their services that was never asked for, right? So now that they've done this, right? So let's just pick an example. Say there's an adult who has an adult child, and say they suddenly start paying their car insurance or something like that, right? The other adult child did not ask them to do that. They were just simply saying, oh, I don't know if I have enough money to cover all my bills this month, right? So here we go. She jumps in, starts paying this one thing, right? So now I'm the rescuer, right? And then what happens is now she feels like this is an obligation, so she continues to do it. Even though, again, the child never asked her to, right? So now this is her, you know, doing too much, taking on too much, right? Playing harder. And so now she goes into a persecutor mode, right? Oh, my kid won't pay all of their bills. I'm constantly helping out my child, blah, blah, you know, again, now I'm persecuting the person that I initially offered help to. So now I'm the persecutor and I'm giving them a hard time. You need to pay your own bills. I'm tired of doing this for you, right? So then she moves into the victim role. And now she's telling all of her friends, oh, I'm so stressed out. I don't have any money. I have to pay all my kids' bills, blah, blah, blah. And so now she's officially a victim, right?
Right.
So now we moved into victim mode when nobody asked for your help in the first place, right?
Right.
And how many women do we watch exhaust themselves, stress themselves out, worry themselves to death over doing a bunch of things that nobody asked them to do, you know? And now we call it enabling, right? So that now we just title it as enabling. But you must understand there's a whole cycle to it.
Yeah, there's a cycle
because,
to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. If the expectation that you were just going to do this kind gesture and be done with it, then you would have paid it one time and let it go. And let it go, right? Because there's no expectation. I'm just going to help you out this one time, and then we'll be done with it, right? But we all take on everybody else's junk, right? And now we become victims, right? Because now I'm carrying around all this junk. But again, nobody asked you to.
Right.
But the expectation, right, is that as mothers and wives, we're supposed to do all of these things to show our love.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just not how it works, right?
That's not how it works.
And
you said a key point is nobody asked you to. So why are we not just saying, do you need help? What can I help you with?
Right. And in a way that feels good.
In a way that feels good. Yeah. Not creates that cycle.
Right.
That crazy.
So I always say, like, you know, kindness and compassionate and kind gestures towards your loved ones should feel good. Because if it doesn't feel good anymore, then it's either something that you didn't really want to do in the first place, something you need to let go of, or maybe it's just a lack of communication between you and that other person, right? But it should feel good. It's awesome.
It should feel good, yeah.
It's awesome to do nice things for people that you love. When it doesn't feel good anymore, then you have to, okay, what's the expectation? Did I set one? Did we talk about it? You know, what was the expectation here? And I think most of the frustration around expectations is that we don't communicate them. They're just sitting here.
Right. And we're setting ourselves up for something that's unrealistic.
Right.
Which again creates that suffering.
Yes. Yeah.
We're back to that.
Because again, we have these expectations up here that the other person isn't even aware of.
Right.
Like they were never even told that it was an expectation that if you don't make your bed every morning, that means you don't love me. Like, what?
Right. Exactly.
When did that happen?
Exactly.
You know, or
people aren't mind readers. They never have been all these years.
Nope. Or in like office environments, if you don't say hi to people, that means you don't like them, or they did something wrong, or you know what I mean? They make all these assumptions. Again, it goes back to the 4 agreements. Now you're assuming because somebody didn't say good morning to you that all of the, you know, And again, if you just don't take it personal, not everything that people say or do is about you. If you can just let that expectation go and realize it's not about you, then you won't take it so personal.
Right. Stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stay in your lane.
All right. So we talked about what expectations are. We're talking about some how, right? Changing expectations. Let's go back to the root of it. Why would you want to change your expectations? You know, like people say, this is what I want. I want my husband or my wife to do this, 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 and this is what I expect. And if I don't get it, you know, so why is it important to define your own expectations?
Well, for one, you're going to continually be disappointed if you don't, and you're going to live in this just total place of suffering all the time. If you're waiting for someone to do something for you, you're just going to be sitting and waiting. I mean, it just, I think I almost feel like this is coming to me, and I don't know that I have the right words for it yet, but I almost feel like we shouldn't even have expectations. That sounds terrible, but that we really shouldn't, that we should, you know, like I said, really get to know ourselves, what we want, what we need for ourselves. And pretty much any of that you can give to yourself.
Absolutely.
Other people are bonuses, like we said. So yeah, I'm just thinking that maybe expectations is something we need to just let go of altogether.
Right.
And, you know, and again, be honest with your partner, your coworkers, you know, just because I didn't speak to you this morning doesn't mean diddly squat.
Right.
You know, I was stuck in traffic for 2 hours and my kids were up at 5 a.m. And, you know, I mean, people live with all kinds of like crazy stuff going on, and they're in their little thing. Like you said, don't take it personal. So yeah, I'm just thinking that maybe we should start this movement of having no expectations other than for ourselves.
Sure.
Other than for ourselves. This is what I expect of myself.
Right.
I follow
you know what a fan I am. We're both fans, but I'm such a huge fan of Abraham Hicks because it just helps me to stay focused on me, right? And my own alignment, right? And if I see myself and others through the eyes of Source, then I'm also seeing the best in people, right? But one of the suggestions that she makes is you just wake up every day and say, you know, I'm going to enjoy this day. It's a beautiful day. I appreciate that I get to enjoy this day. And I expect to see things that make me happy. And I set the, you know, not just the expectation, but the intention of having an enjoyable day. So when you can focus on you, right, and your inner world, and you don't make everything external, right? And when it becomes way more internal, then all of these other things don't really faze you.
Right.
You know, you don't, and again, it's letting go of expectations. I don't need anybody else that I encounter throughout my day to behave, act, you know, talk anything differently than whatever they're going to do.
Right.
Because I'm so good with me and I don't take it personal. And when they're acting crazy or being mean or, you know, whatever it is that they're going to do, you know, again, it goes back to the 4 agreements. You're just projecting out to me your inner world.
Right.
You know,
it has nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with it.
Right.
I'm good. I'm going to be happy. Yes, I'm going to go through some things and things will irritate me, annoy me, but I'll quickly bounce back from it because I choose to be happy and I set the expectation that every day is a good day, right? Not every day is going to be as, you know, there's going to be ups and downs, but if you're just so good with you, then you don't expect anything from anybody else. And when it comes, you're like, okay, cool. Great. Yeah. Awesome. Bonus.
Right.
You know, I expect to have a great day. I expect things to go great for me. If they don't, I know me and I know that I can bounce back. Right. But so, and the other part of Abraham Hicks that I like is just setting the tone for the day. And this is one thing that I teach my clients too, is that your day, right, is that we have a lot of people have all these different emotions that they're not able to describe, explain, you know, understand about themselves. But what you really should experience most of your day is going to be at a neutral level, right? So you should have a peaceful day, right? Or you should be excited or passionate about something that you're working on. So you're in the flow and you're excited. Or you're just, you know, neutral. You're just happy. You're just at peace, right?
Right.
So it shouldn't be all of these, highs and lows. Like, I had a wonderful lunch, and then I came back to work and dealt with this jerk of a boss, and now I'm down here, right? And so all these, spikes in your day because you don't understand how to manage your own emotions, right?
Right.
So
Right.
if you set the expectation that your day is going to be at a base level, peaceful or neutral, with some moments of happiness or maybe some excitement over something that's coming up, but the anger, frustration, stress, worry, all those should be a minimal part of your day.
Right. Absolutely.
And as we talk about, like, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and you guys will hear me talk about this book a lot because I love it. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And what he talks about a lot is, like, most people spend 70% of their day in a stressful state, right? So if you think about the chemical state that their body is in, it becomes an expectation. People are now, the expectation that they're going to have a stressful day, they're setting at the beginning of their day, right? They're starting their day thinking about their coworkers, their boss, the stuff they have to deal with. So when you're setting an expectation that you're going to have a bad day, you're also setting an intention with the universe that you're going to have a bad day. So guess what's going to show up?
Yeah, it's like an order.
You're
We've talked
going
about
to
this
have
before.
a bad day, right?
You're just placing an order.
Yep. Placing an order, and that's what happens. So if you can start your day by changing the expectation, today's going to be a good day. I'm either going to be peaceful and neutral, or I'm going to be happy and excited. Anything other than that is going to be short-lived because I expect to have an enjoyable day.
Right.
So,
go
ahead.
I'm just agreeing. This is what I will accept for myself today.
Yes. This is my expectation for my day. I expect to have a good day. Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
So, I think we can wrap it up. I think we've talked about expectations a lot. Yeah. I think, again, I always challenge people on their expectations, again, whether it's a client or friends and family. What's your expectation, and where did you come up with that? Who told you that? Why are you expecting that? And why do you need this person to behave differently in order for you to be happy? Like, again, it's challenging your expectations is just like challenging your beliefs. And that's what most of us coaches do, is we're challenging your belief system, because a lot of unhappiness comes from that you've adopted belief systems from other people that don't really serve you, right? They're not you.
Generations
and generations of belief systems have been passed down to us that don't really serve us anymore. So you have to get to know yourself and what it is that you want, right? And what you expect, mostly from yourself. But even if you just drop the expectations with other people, you're going to be less stressed and you're going to be less worried. And, I think, not just stressed, but you'll be just a lot more peaceful if you just let go of expectations.
Right. Just let them go. One question I would like to throw in there is I ask the question of myself every day, but I also ask it I ask Kevin and I ask my friends, what do you need from me today?
Good one.
What do you need today? What can I do for you today? It opens up a whole other possibility of not just creating for yourself some peace.
Sure.
Today I really don't need to go to all these meetings. Today I need to stay home and have quiet time. That's what I really need.
Right.
Or today I need you to help me with XYZ.
Right.
That would be really helpful.
Right.
So you've sort of set this up, not really an expectation, but a request.
Sure. Right.
So anyway, a helpful tip.
Yes. There's another one I read recently that I really like too. It's because oftentimes we try to jump in and solve people's problems for them, which can be very frustrating. And especially with the whole men versus women is, men are problem solvers. They just want the problem solved. Whereas women just want to communicate. They just wanted to vent and let it go.
Yep.
Right. And so men want to just jump in and solve the problem and the frustration. So anyways, I'll just put this out there because this is a really, really good question to ask anybody, whether it's your partner, your coworker, it doesn't matter. Instead of assuming anything of what you can do to help them or making it personal or any of those things, ask one simple question, which is, how can I best support you in this situation?
Yes, absolutely. I love that one.
And let them tell you what they need.
Right.
Don't assume.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And don't put yourself into the rescuer, persecutor victim cycle by jumping in
and hauling off their baggage.
Really want to do, yep. Right? Now you're mad because you're doing a bunch of things you didn't want to do in the first place. Don't do it.
Don't do it. We are in agreement of that one.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't
yes.
be picking up other people's stuff and carrying it. No.
Don't. Let it go. All right, so I'll wrap it up. But we just want to thank you guys for joining us today on this discussion on this topic of expectations. We're going to continue these types of conversations. Again, these are just some of our coaching tips for you guys that we like to share, that anybody, again, feel free to share with whoever that you think could use the benefit of it. We can always suggest some resources, books, videos, things like that. Obviously, you guys know we're both coaches. You can go on our website, you can go to creativebrainspark.com and see more about the type of coaching that we do. So if you think that might help yourself or somebody else, feel free to check out our website for more info. But thank you for joining us today, you guys. We hope all of you guys have a really, really awesome Friday. Have a great weekend and let go of expectations.
Yes, please let go.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.